Hey guys, I am Adam. Welcome to the Vintage Sanctuary. So this is going to be a VR for Eric, 4-leaf cards. He's asking us to share the most beautiful cards, whether we own them or not. So I made a list of my top 5 most beautiful cards that I own. And then at the end, I will also share a beautiful card that I do not own. Now, I've got to say, Eric, that what you're asking us to do is absolutely ridiculous because there are so many stunning, beautiful cards out there. If you ask me tomorrow, I might, not have the exact same list. Not because I'm wishy-washy, but just because I am blessed to have many beautiful cards in my collection, even though it's not nearly as large as the collections of some. Also, I think, this is a very generous contest that Eric is running, and I'll put the link below. But I think that really this is all about his stunning 1953 Bowman color Pee Wee Reese that I had the privilege of holding in hand at the National, and it is screaming gorgeous. So I think what Eric's really doing, I think every day he looks in the mirror and says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, what's the most beautiful vintage card of all?" And he hears the mirror saying back to him, 1953 Bowman color Pee Wee Reese. And so I think he's having this contest just to validate that in his mind, his Pee Wee Reese card is the most beautiful card, vintage card ever, or vintage or not. And I think he's putting the challenge out there. He's laid the gauntlet down. Is there anything that can rival his stunningly gorgeous 53 Bowman color Pee Wee Reese? Well, Eric, I think you'll probably end up having to purchase a few more cards if you don't have them, because once you see this list of 5, your Pee Wee Reese, in my humble opinion, is going to have some challengers for you to consider adding to your collection. Okay, I also want to give some of my collecting thoughts. So after each card that I share, I will, share some collecting thoughts. And if you want to skip to the next card, you can do that. However, I'm hoping there's something meaningful in my collecting thoughts that might be helpful or you might glean from. So let me turn the camera around and let's get going. By the way, I'm rooting for the Phillies in this World Series. And I loved Game 1, how they pulled that out. I thought that was just such an epic game. I guess if you're an Astros fan, not so much. But I'm thinking they're the underdogs, so it seemed appropriate to show a couple of pictures here of Phillies. I only have 5 pictures, but 2 of them happen to be Phillies, so I'll leave those in the background. Okay, here we go. Number 5. Oh, one more thing. I tried not to be influenced by star power. I thought of every card in my collection as if it were Eddie Lopat, and that made them all irresistible, so that didn't work. But I went through just my vintage baseball, which is mostly what I have, and tried not to be influenced by the star power or the popularity of the player or the market value of the card, just how beautiful the card was to me. So here we go. Number 5, the 1951 Bowman, number 74, Billy Johnson. This is a Yankee contributor. It's my only card of Billy Johnson. I have not done a Yankee contributor video on him yet. This card makes my top 5, not because of the high grade of 8. I actually had a 4 at one point that was really beautiful, but after I bought this 8, I got this 8 at auction last October, a year ago, for, I think, a really nice price, $42. So I gave the 4 away, it turns out. But let's just take a quick look. I mean, the greens here and the the bleachers in the background, his pinstripes, his pose. To me, this card is just one of the most beautiful cards. One of the most beautiful cards of all time. So that is number 5. I'll just kind of place Billy Johnson over here. And all right, so this is really more of a YouTube thought than a collecting thought, but after I show the others, I'll give some of my collecting thoughts. How I'm dealing with watching YouTube content. I've got a lot of things going on, as everybody does, watching the World Series, which is really exciting for me because I have not watched a lot of baseball in the past, trying to read some books, just life in general, family, exercise, work, church, etc. So I know this is a first world problem, and it's a great, dilemma. I wouldn't call it a problem, but a great dilemma to have. I am having a hard time, keeping up with watching everybody's YouTube content. So, I would love to, sometimes I must confess, it can feel a little bit overwhelming. But of course, it's such an awesome dilemma to have. So I'd be so grateful to get your thoughts on this and how you negotiate that. I haven't really heard anybody speaking about this, although maybe they did. I just didn't see that video. I'm not Picker Jim. He seems to support everyone, and I don't know how he does it. It's truly amazing. I guess I could just pick and choose and watch, certain videos of individuals, but then which ones do I pick? I guess I could pick the ones that seem to be more interesting to me, but anyway, I'm still kind of wrestling with that and finding that YouTube/life balance, but I am so grateful to be a member of this community and to be, building relationships. So really cool. So I would appreciate any thoughts you have there. Okay, here we go. Number 4. Now, this guy has serious star power, but that's not why I picked this card. It, to me, is just stunning gorgeous, and I have showed it before. So number 4, the 1952 Topps number 244, Willie Mays. One of the few action shots in 53 Topps. And to me, this card is just outrageously beautiful. Just stunning vintage art. And so that is my number 4, Eric and everybody. So let me just kind of put that over here. Okay, collecting thought. Is the hunt or the chase my primary reason for collecting? I would say no. I like the hunt. I like the chase, looking for cards. But that's not my primary reason. My primary reason is to obtain the cards, like these 2 cards, and enjoy them. And even if I were to complete whatever that completion would look like let's say I had a complete 53 Topps set, for example, or a complete 1951 Bowman set. Those are not goals that I have, but let's say I did. I would still love these cards right here that we're looking at. So for me, I don't think I'll lose interest after completion. The chase or hunt is not my primary reason to collect. Investing is certainly not my primary reason to collect. In fact, I tend to think vintage baseball will probably soften some and back off some. So I think I'm buying into a market that's pretty high. But I'm doing it anyway because, we're collectors and that's what we do. And I love adding to my collection. Yeah, there's probably going to be certain cards that maintain value or continue to rise, but I think the market's still due for some correction. And of course, I could be wrong, who knows? But, those are just my thoughts. So it's certainly not investment. It's certainly not rarity. I'm not collecting for rarity, although I respect rarity and appreciate, I appreciate rarity, and I appreciate how rarity is an important component of supply and demand that can impact the value of a card over time. It's just not a box that needs to be checked for me. I actually have zero interest in owning one of ones. After all, we could argue one of ones are the most rare cards, even though it can be a manufactured rarity. And the reason I have zero interest personally is because I only want to own cards that other people can own as well. That's just me. I feel like I'm in all of these clubs, like I'm in the 54 Red Heart Carl Erskine Club with anyone who has a 54 Red Heart Carl Erskine. Heck, I'm in the 53 Topps Willie Mays Club with Joe for Soft Corners, because he's got a beautiful 53 Topps Willie Mays in his collection. So my number one reason for collecting, really, well, it's more than one reason. It's the nostalgia. It's the nostalgic feelings. It's the artistry of the cards. It's the beauty of the cards. It's the history of the cards, the players on the field, what they accomplished, the players, off the field, their personality, their life story, or their stories that are associated with them. It's the community. It's connecting with this wonderful card collecting community, whether people collect vintage or not. So the chase is not my primary reason for collecting. Just these two cards as examples. I don't think I'll ever get tired of looking at them, owning them, enjoying them. I like the chase, I like the hunt, but for me, it's not at all primarily about the hunt. It's not primarily about completion or investments. It's about community, history, artistry, nostalgia, beauty, that sort of thing. All right, here we go with number 3. Now, I want you to know this is not a Hall of Famer, but this is one of my favorite players. But I did not choose this card, at least I tried not to, because this is one of my favorite players. I chose this card because I truly think, at least if you ask me today, I brought it in at number 3. And so here we go, the 1952 Bowman Eddie Lopat in a PSA 5. Just that rich green and the perspective on the stadium in the background. I just love everything about this card. And I truly think it's one of the most stunning cards in my collection. This is one that I've shown before as well when I was showing off my Eddie Lopat card. So I'll put him over there by Willie Mays. Okay. Another thought about my, collection, or about collecting. Do I ever sell or trade cards? Well, I go through my collection periodically, and there's no set schedule, but sometimes it could be roughly weekly, sometimes it could be roughly every month or two, and I look to see if there's anything I want to sell. And so sometimes I'll grab a few cards that they just don't excite me so much. If I display a card, and I'm still a baby at displaying. I don't have a display case, but I display on top of my dresser in the way you see right here with these little plastic stands. I'll display several cards at a time. Plus I have that frame I won from Double D, which is really cool. So if I display a card and it's not really grabbing me, or I'm not really stoked, or there's something about it that's bugging me, condition-wise or whatever, I'd just as soon sell it, even if I take a loss, to take those funds and buy something that I really just love owning and love looking at. And of course, a person's taste can kind of, change a little bit as I learn and grow and become, more, I guess, maybe sophisticated, or I have more knowledge about vintage baseball cards. But for the most part, I keep my cards and I, buy them with the idea that I'm going to hold on to them long-term as collectibles that I can enjoy. But I will go through my collection and find a few things that, when I bought the card, maybe it had something that I didn't see in the pictures, but I'm just not really connecting with the card. Or maybe I just decided I want to buy something else instead, and this will help me raise some funds for that. But again, for the most part, I keep my cards, but I will find some from time to time to sell. Or if there's something I really want and I need to raise some capital, then I might, in addition to saving up for it, I might grab a few things to sell that I would consider, cards that I like, but they're the ones that maybe I like the least, or they just don't grab me that much. But of course, my goal is only to buy stuff that really grabs me, that I'll keep long term. Every once in a while, I will upgrade, but not too often. Every once in a while, I will, so to speak, downgrade, where I buy something at a lower grade that I like better, a copy of the same card, and then I'll sell the higher grade. That doesn't happen too often, but it can. Okay, here we go. Number 2, the number 2 most beautiful card in my collection. I've shown this one before as well. The 1952 Topps Ted Klaszewski. And This card has kind of a pink tint to it. Not all of the Ted Klaszewskis and 52 Tops have that, but when they do, I think it really enhances the eye appeal. So I'm really talking about those copies that have that pink tint, even though I don't believe it's a designated variation. And so, this says 3, but I mean, come on. I don't really care what the grade says to me. This card is beyond belief gorgeous in my mind in every conceivable way, regardless of, the letter grade on the slab. I mean, what else is this card supposed to do, so to speak, to be more gorgeous? Now, is its grade a 3? I mean, what do I know? Seems kind of undergraded, but maybe that is the appropriate grade technically. But eye appeal is what I care about, and I personally think this card is basically a 10 in terms of eye appeal. I mean, I realize it could be centered a little better, but the centering is sufficient for me to call this a 10 for me. The eye appeal is a 10 for me. I think that is just an absolutely stunning, gorgeous card. Okay, another collecting thought. How do I decide what to buy next? Well, I do have a list. I keep it in a Google Doc, but I'm not necessarily trying to complete that list. I kind of have a Zen approach. I want to wait and see what card comes to me. For example, the card we're looking at on the right here, the Klaszewski, that was at an auction, and I saw that card, and I had that card in mind, the 52 Tops Klaszewski, but I saw that particular copy, and I was like, oh man, I want to go after that. I probably bid high. I don't remember, although I got it actually for, I think, a great price. I've had that one for some time. I'd have to look up to see how long. So that was a card, I have cards on my list, but generally speaking, I'm not saying, okay, I really want to get the 52 Tops Ted Klaszewski this month or within the next couple of months. No, it's just maybe on a list, either my mental list or the literal Google Doc list. And if the right card comes along that, where I like the price, I'll only bid what I'm willing to pay for it, of course. So I like the price. I like the card just speaks to me. A lot of my collecting is just really it's collecting with my intuition. It's just like, or my gut, or, it's just like, wow, that card really, really speaks to me. So, and by the way, I might even pay, I might even bid well over comps if it's something that I really want. Although usually I don't do that. So, I don't really want to know what card is going to be the next card I purchase, because to me, part of the fun is not knowing and wondering what's next and wondering, am I going to get something that's on my, either on my literal list or kind of on my sort of mental list, or something new that was not on my radar that someone else shows in a video or I happen to see on eBay or, maybe some other site. Am I going to, land something that I wasn't expecting to get, either because I love the look of the card and it was a great buy on auction, or because, it just really spoke to me. So I decided to go after it, even if, wow, look, this is ending in a couple hours and it's really speaking to me. So I'm going to go get this thing or try to get this thing. I like to not know what's coming next. I like to, so to speak, let the cards come to me. I have lots of, cards in mind, but unless I really, really want something, I won't push to try to make a purchase of that particular card happen. I'll just kind of wait and see what comes to me. And I think that allows me, to get some better eye appeal cards with that approach. Okay, are you ready for number 1? Number 1 is really 2 because I love this card so much. I actually have 2 copies of it, and I think I got a great buy on both of these. They were buy it nows some time ago, and I thought they were on the low side price-wise. I thought they were, underpriced. I could be wrong, who knows, but I didn't buy them because they were underpriced. I bought them because I just absolutely love this card. By the way, after I bought these 2, I had a 3. And so I sold the 3 and after I bought these 2. But here we go. The 1952 Redman Tobacco AL3 Yogi Berra with tag. To me, This is an absolutely stunningly beautiful card. I do have his 53 Redman and his 54, but I do not have the 55. So, at some point I'd like to pick up the 55 because I really love all of these Redman Yogis. He happens to be one of the few players that has a card in all 4 years of the Redman sets, and so it'd be cool to have his complete run. Just an absolutely stunning beauty. Love the colors, love the vintage art. Give you a look at the back here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just set that to the side because check this out. That was a 4.5. This is a 4. I'll kind of show you here. 1952, Redman Tobacco, Yogi Berra. I mean, whoa. I mean, this card is so gorgeous. Sorry about that, Eric. You're going to have to probably get yourself one of these, to go along with your... I don't know that I can get everything on there. Yeah, I'm covering up some of the cards, but that's okay. To go along with your stunning 53 Bowman colored Pee Wee Reese. All right, one more collecting thought. Do I have any projects I'm trying to complete, like, say, sets or player runs or something else? No. I mean, at some point, it's possible I will end up with some completions. Like I just mentioned, maybe all of the Redman Yogi Berras. I'm missing the 1955. But let's take 53 tops. It's possible at some point maybe I'll have all of the Hall of Famers, and that would be a completion of sorts. But that's really not what I'm going after. My quote-unquote completion with 53 tops, for example, could easily be I got to the point where I bought all the ones that I want, or maybe there might be others that I like, but I just don't want to spend that much for them. So, that particular card doesn't mean that much to me to spend that much for it. So it could be an interesting sort of completion where, for example, I love Yogi Berra. Maybe I end up buying all the Yogi Berras I like. I don't have his rookie, his 48 Bowman. There's a lot of Yogi Berras I don't have. I may never go after his rookie because I don't think it's one of his best looking cards. So I may just get all the Yogi Berras I like and call it good. And so that would be, I guess, a completion of sorts. All right. Finally, I think Eric would like it if we gave at least one, beautiful card that is not in our collection. And wow, again, that's tough. Really tough assignment, Eric. So I decided to narrow my focus on simply 1952 tops, just to make this more doable, and to say one card from 1952 tops that I do not own that I think is just stunningly gorgeous. And that would be, and I'll put a picture of one up here, the 1952 tops Virgil Trucks, or Fire Trucks as he's known. To me, it's just like Virgil is just glowing, and just the purples, the blue, the rich blue in his cap, and of course he's got kind of the stripes on his jersey. To me, the whole thing just color-wise just works, and I think he's got such a beautiful expression on his face, and to me his eyes are just full of life. I just think that is an absolutely gorgeous card. The yellow stars around his nameplate there, I think, go really well with the rich colors above. Well, this has gotten long, to say the least. I think my longest video ever. Thank you, Eric, for putting this generous contest on. Thank you, everyone who has made it this far. Would love to hear your comments below. Man, these cards are so stunning. I just love them. Thank you for sharing in my joy. I hope you had a wonderful and peaceful time in the Vintage Sanctuary.